Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sleepover. I'm your host, Charli, and today we're joined live and in person with your favorite syrup maker ever, and also craft cocktail maker, everyone's favorite, Angela Bolt. Welcome. Yay!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love your intros.
I do my best. So how was your day today?
It was good.
Yeah?
Busy. Yeah.
You recently had this is like the most local hippie maker problem ever. You had a berry supplier issue.
I did. One of the things I tell people when I'm talking about my syrups is I do organic whenever possible and local whenever it makes sense, and that's really important to me to hold true to that. So whenever I get the chance, when I say when it makes sense, it's when it's the best, when I can get the best local and when I can get the best price. So I'm not, charging $50 for a bottle of syrup. When it makes sense, I will do local. And strawberries or berries in general in Northwest Arkansas makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the weather has been abnormal this year. And so fields have experienced flooding. We've gone without rain, so we've had some mini droughts, and I had a berry farmer all lined up, and I was so excited, and I went in mid last week to check on the berries, and they're like, oh yeah, no, the field is flooded, so we're done with berries. And I was like, oh my gosh, insert panic. Mm-hmm. And so I went home immediately, started calling all these different farms. Thank God for Google Maps. Mm-hmm. Literally just searching all of basically the western half of Arkansas. I was like, if I have to drive 6 hours to get these berries, I have to drive 6 hours. It's whatever. But yeah, I got lucky and I was so happy. And then she talked to me on, Monday? Tuesday?
Yeah. Or no, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. All my days run together now. Yeah, so we chatted and she was like, okay, so small problem. And so I was on the hunt again, and I got lucky, and you made a recommendation through your sister, right?
Yeah. Well, I was texting Angela yesterday. We were supposed to record, and I was like, hey, are we down to record? She's like, my berry vendor I'm having issues. I have to reschedule. And I was like, I have a hippie sister. I could just text her and ask her if she knows of any berry farmers. Would that be helpful? And she was like, sure. And then I texted my sister and she was like, well, I go to this one all the time if you want. I don't know the people that own it. And so I sent it to her and it worked out.
Yeah, so I'm excited. So I'll be picking up berries tomorrow, actually.
Yay.
So I'm doing a big cook on Friday. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about it.
So tell everyone about how you the program you're in for University of Arkansas where you use their kitchen stuff.
Yeah, so a local foodie friend of mine introduced me to this program through University of Arkansas. It's called AFIC, Arkansas Food Innovation Center, and they have a commercial production kitchen. So you have to apply, so they can turn you down or you can be accepted. But I was lucky enough to get accepted. And so I am able to reserve time in this production kitchen to make my syrups.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
That you don't have to have a whole industrial kitchen and you could be a small business and still...
Because I could never. I think it's such a great program because one of the most expensive industries to work in, and I guess that's probably inflating that a little bit, but a very expensive industry to work in is food and beverage. Mm-hmm. And having that, access to those funds up front is so difficult for a lot of small business owners or somebody that just has an idea, a fantastic idea and a dream to make things happen, mm-hmm. but they don't have the capital. So, this gives them a chance to get their foot in the door. I think that's really special.
I think it's really cool. And it's giving a chance for everyone to, it has very feminine energy. Everybody gets to share and everybody gets to benefit from having something like that in the community.
Absolutely. I've gotten to be in the kitchen with people blending spices. Often when I'm in there is a whole group of people making cookies, these really doughy, massive cookies that they sell downtown Fayetteville. And then also hot sauce, which I have to put a mask on because you sneeze and you cough so much when they're making hot sauce. They'll have Scotch bonnets in there, and they're steaming them, so it's just, floating in the air. But yeah, it's really cool. We trade product and we talk to each other. And
do you ever find that like your syrups taste different based on who your neighbor is?
No, not at all. I mean, there's always that concern, but I think that the director, his name is John. Shout out to John. He's amazing. He does a really good job at keeping things separate. So we have, you're going to be able to smell it just like, you can smell a McDonald's from a mile away. You're going to be able to smell it in the air, but it's not going to impact your product.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's such a cool program. And it's nice that we have it here.
Yes. Very
and
nice.
The other cool thing about it, Siloam Syrups, is that was kind of like your secondary business, but it seems like it's kind of taken over.
It has. In the best way possible, though. I feel like very blessed. I think when I started my first business here in Siloam, South Maple Street Cocktails, I did it because I had a passion for the art and the craft of making cocktails. So very like farm to glass, very craft style. I really like the pre-prohibition and during prohibition era. So even just the stories and the histories that go into it, and getting to share that with people and getting people to try new things was really fun for me. But through teaching, these syrups came around. I would send everybody home with recipe cards at the end of the night, and the recipe cards would have the recipe for the cocktail, but it would also have a recipe for the syrup. And people kept calling me saying, hey, I know you gave me the recipe, but can I just buy a batch off of you? Like, they didn't want to make it. And these aren't, some of them are a little intricate, but they're not incredibly difficult. Any of the recipes I was sharing out were like really, dumbed down, for lack of a better word.
Simple syrup for a reason.
Right. It was just very approachable, I would say. But people just didn't have the time, or they just didn't care to. And so they would come to me, and I was happy to do it because it's something I enjoy. So after a year of that trend, I decided to take the leap and just, officially look into bottling it.
Mm-hmm. And it's like taken off like crazy. I've seen like so many. I follow you on Facebook. Also, side note, I'm so proud of this. I was the first customer ever, and I tell everybody that. And actually, I'm gonna brag about my cool little gift.
Yes, please do. I have it right here.
So she's holding it in her hand right now. It is the very first ever Siloam Syrups jar purchased. I cleaned it out and I put little gold balls in it. So now she can put it up on her shelf or throw it away or whatever she wants to do with it.
I will absolutely keep it. It's definitely going in my office. Very, very cool. I think I might write on it the date and time the order went through.
Yeah, or like the number 001.
Yeah.
Because I remember I like sent you, I was like, 001? Does that mean that I'm the first one ever? And I like sent you a screenshot, and then you're like, yep, that's what that means. I was like, ah!
It was very cool. And it felt so good to be supported by a friend. When you launch businesses, you never know. Like, you put up your website, you do all this work in your labeling and the ingredients that go into the bottle and the marketing and like getting everything lined up, and then you just kind of like sit there and wait. Wait, what do I do now? Of course I had events to go to and things like that, but there was just something really special about putting my website, going live and having pre-orders available and that first order coming through. So
yeah,
very cool.
Support small business, support your friends. Don't be that friend. That's like, okay, well, you can be that friend if you want to. That's like, hey, can I get this for free because you're my friend? But like, support your friend's small business. That's like the coolest thing that you can do. You could go and support Walmart, at least in my opinion. This is my opinion. You could go and support like big box businesses. But if you like support your friend's business, like that's actually physically impacting their business. Like, I mean, if you support a big box business, that's cool, but like you don't physically get to see them like the next day.
They already have yachts. They don't need any more yachts.
Yeah, so that's one of my cool things is like being able to see the impact of my money. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And but like, so you're like the better part of a year into this, right?
Yeah, it's officially rolled out. I had my pre-sale. I wish I could remember when my pre-sale went up, but my first, introduction to the community was at the Homegrown Festival. The first weekend of October this last year.
So that's like most of a year. Yeah.
8 months in.
Yeah. And 8 months in, and you are merchandising at so many different places. That's the thing that I noticed. Tell me about all the places that people can buy Siloam syrups.
Sure. So here it's all in Northwest Arkansas so far. So I will say Park House Kitchen and Bar in Siloam Springs. They have it on their menu. They don't do retail, but 2 doors down is a gift shop called Occasions, and they do have it for retail. Cafe on Broadway, a couple doors down from Occasions, is a really cute coffee shop and cafe, and they have it for retail and they have it on their menu. Olive and Opal is a arts center, and they have it on their red shelf, which is a shelf full of local products, and it's red, hence the name. And then I'm also at the Midtown Mall in Springdale at Bella's Gifts, which is in Old Town Springdale. I also just got into Macadoodles,
hey.
which is really cool. And that's the Macadoodles in Springdale. We do have a Macadoodles coming up, a new one opening south of Springdale and Siloam Springs, and I'm hoping to get into that one as well. So fingers crossed. And then another new in Centerton, Mars Mercantile and Honeycomb Kitchen. I don't have a retail agreement with them yet, but I did just agree to do a cooking class as a guest chef in August.
I like that.
So I'm going to be doing 2 food items and a cocktail, all 3 of them using the syrup. But the goal behind this is to show people how they can use the syrup in savory applications.
That's cool. I like it. And where's Honeycomb?
Honeycomb Kitchen is in Old Town Rogers.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you're also going to a bunch of festivals too, right?
Yeah, I would like to sign up for some more, but right now on the calendar, I have on June 1st, the Big Game Market in Fayetteville at the Co-op, and then I have Berry Fest on June 22nd, and Homegrown again, so it'll be my 1-year anniversary at Homegrown the first weekend of October. It's the 5th.
Yay! I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. 8 months of work and all of that. Like, I'm looking at the list right now. It's like gigantic. 8 months. That's amazing. Good work. I'm proud of you.
I feel very supported and welcomed by the community.
Yay!
Yeah, it's a nice feeling.
Yay! Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you. I also have some pretty cool news that I was excited about this week. So you know how I've been doing Pod Circle at Fayetteville Public Library?
Yes.
Well, it's coming up this week, and somebody sent me a link, and it was on the news.
Oh, fancy!
An event that I planned.
I love
on
that.
the news, and I just felt really proud of that.
You should feel proud of that. That's a big accomplishment. And also not surprising because hello, you're amazing.
Oh well, thanks. So Pod Circle is actually going to be tomorrow. So
okay.
This episode will come up after.
So tell me about this event.
Oh well, it's every 4th Thursday at the Fayetteville Public Library. Mm-hmm. We have the Pod Circle meetup, which is like for podcasters, anybody who is like a creator online can come, and if they're interested in doing a podcast, if they have a podcast, we like meet up and network. And do you want to be on my podcast, or what's your podcast about? What streaming service do you use? How much does Riverside suck? Riverside sucks. I'm still fighting with them, guys. Believe it or not, I'm still mad that they lost an episode. I'm gonna fight them until they make it better. Anyway,
what episode did they lose?
They lost one with Casey.
Oh,
I was so sad. And so that was the one. It was like 3 weeks ago. By the time this episode comes out, it was 3 weeks ago, and I had recorded one with Casey on a Monday, and they released on Saturday. And I had waited for it to process. It was like processing for forever. And so I put in like the help desk ticket or whatever. And then they went like back and forth with me, and they were like, "It's your VPN. It's your whatever." And I'm like, "No, it's not. just get it."
Just passing the blame.
Yeah, basically. So then I still don't have access to it, and they're like, "You should have access to it now." And I'm like, "I don't."
That's so frustrating.
So, and the thing that sucks is that Spotify for podcasters is usually what I use. And Spotify for podcasters, like, bought Riverside, so they're forcing everyone to use it. So I can't even use Spotify for podcasters starting June 1st.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
So what are we using tonight?
We're using Audacity. That's why I was like, I am so glad that I don't have to mess around with Riverside, because whenever I record like in real life in person, it records straight to the computer, and then I just upload it to the places that I distribute it at. But typically, if I have to record from like far away, then I have to be able to send somebody a link that they can go to, and that's where I record it, and then I use that recording to distribute. So whenever it's in person, I have less technical difficulty.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Except for it comes with other issues, like my house is small.
So cute, though.
Oh, well, thanks. So yeah, that's what I was working on, and I'm proud of that. And we also have, I also work on the our the podcast conference happening here in Arkansas. I'm on the planning committee for that too.
That's right. When is that happening?
It's happening in November, also at the Fayetteville Public Library. So.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited. And there's really cool things happening that it's not time to release yet, but
okay.
Everyone, if you're interested in podcasting, it's gonna be like kind of like Comic-Con, but like for this region and like podcasting.
I love that.
For podcasters, for people who listen to podcasters to come meet podcasters, that kind of thing.
You moving and shaking.
I know. I feel so fancy. I really think if you're thinking about starting a podcast, just do it. It's going to change your life for the better.
I'm really impressed by the consistency that you've had.
Yeah, I have not been this consistent with anything in my life. I haven't skipped an episode in like a year and change.
Amazing.
Yeah, every single week I am dedicated to making sure I get something out, even if it's just 20 minutes of me complaining that Riverside sucks.
Well, and I think too, when you can show up consistently the way that you have, that's such a solid sign that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And it's not a burden or anything. It's fun for me. I really enjoy it. Like, I'm not like dreading like, oh, I got to get it out. Like, I'm like, that sometimes I am with like the social media marketing stuff parts of it, but that's not the part that matters really. The part that matters is like that I'm like enjoying the actual thing that I'm doing.
Of course. Mm-hmm. I love that. And when you talk about it, like it kind of radiates out of you.
Yeah, I know.
You love it.
I know. I really do love it. And it just is cool because I feel like I have in this world, I'm good at being a friend. And if you need a friend, I'm there for it. Like, and so if this is a way that I could be friends with more people, that I'm here for it.
All the stories of how you become friends with people is probably one of my favorite, like, things, like random things that will pop up in the podcast and how I met her. And I'm like, oh, let me hear this.
Well, that's because, I will say that yours goes down the Hall of Fame of like, ones that I was like certain that we were not going to be friends because I was like, I came off like way too weird. That's just not going to happen. But I'm so grateful we are friends.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else
meant to be?
I know. Yay. What else is going on in your life? You've got your businesses.
Yeah. I feel like my whole life is syrups and then just my family right now. So I have 2 flavors coming out I'm really excited about.
Yay!
So I said I'm cooking tomorrow. I have 2 seasonal flavors, like spring to summer. One is called Cracklin' Rose, which is after a Neil Diamond song, because I love music. And the song is actually Cracklin' Rosie. But my little sister, her name is Caitlin Rose. And growing up, my dad called her Cracklin' Rose. Like, that was her cute little nickname. And the song, if you hear it, it sounds like he's singing about a woman, but he's actually singing about a strawberry rosé wine.
Oh.
So this flavor is local fresh strawberries, cracked pink peppercorn and rose water.
Mm.
It's so good. Like the pink peppercorn and the rose water are in there just enough to like really enhance the strawberries and give it something extra. Like amazing in a limeade or a lemonade.
I'm not gonna lie, I would not put pepper with rose water and strawberry. Tell me about why you made that choice.
Sure. So I think the most important thing to understand about pepper is the different colors taste different.
Mm-hmm.
So pink peppercorn it's a little bit sweeter, a little bit softer. Mm-hmm. It doesn't show up like a black pepper shows up. I would almost say like it almost has like a fresher taste to me.
Okay.
And because it's fresh cracked, you know, have you ever noticed the difference between like a pre-ground black pepper that you get in a spice jar versus
I'm not
like
gonna lie, I don't like pepper that much.
Versus like fresh cracked pepper has this like beautiful, almost like green aromatics to it. That's the difference. So, and again, it's just like this slight hint where you're like, what is that? You're like, I don't want you to taste it and be like, this is a pepper flavored syrup. No. I just wanted like something a little bit edgy to be in there. And so there's just a whisper of it. Some people don't pick it up at all because they don't know what they're tasting. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, is that pink peppercorn? I'm like, yep, that's what it is. So
interesting.
Just a little something different, but it's...
Is it pink?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really pretty, like bright pink color.
Cute.
It's very pretty. And then... So yeah, on ice cream, it's delicious. And margaritas, limeade, lemonade. We've been pouring it over our cornbread as like a dessert.
Cornbread?
Yeah.
Okay.
Girl, I have a skillet cornbread recipe on my website. It's amazing. But any of my syrups in whipped butter for the cornbread is really good.
That would be really good.
And then the other flavor that I'm making is called Cowboy Candy. And it's a jalapeno flavor.
So is it spicy?
It is, but the way that I would describe it is it's more of a warming sensation and not gonna like blister your mouth. So would I give it to my 5-year-old? No. But should an adult who isn't like a fan of hot sauce or stuff like that, like it's not that level spicy. It's not hot sauce level spicy, but it definitely will leave your tongue warm, but it fades really gently. So
what's the other flavor of it besides jalapeno?
It's just jalapeno and organic sugar.
What?
Yes. And again, really good in things like whipped butter. As a topper for ice cream, like it's something different.
Interesting.
So good. In margaritas, if you're a margarita drinker.
Something I've been meaning to ask you. Okay, you know that I don't know anything about cocktails. Will you explain to me the difference between a margarita and a skinny margarita? I don't understand. I just see people ordering it like on TV and I don't know the difference.
So there's a really long answer and there's a really like a shorter answer. The shorter answer is you're going to be missing out on flavor when you get a skinny margarita. And a lot of companies will try to market it as being a significantly lower calorie option. I just don't think it's worth it. Now, in saying that, I will say, I don't believe in drinking a margarita unless it's freshly squeezed lime juice. And I'm okay with the calories from a fresh fruit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with using something like my syrups where it's organic sugar. Right? A skinny margarita, usually what they do is they increase the water content, pull back on the syrup, or they'll use like a low glycemic
or like
syrup,
aspartame or something.
Yeah, or they'll maybe agave.
So it's like diet.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
It's the same amount of tequila. It's less lime juice because they save calories there, and then they use a number of different sweeteners.
Okay.
So it's basically a watered down margarita.
Okay.
With the same amount of tequila. So like, why? I just think if you're going, so I do cocktails. I have a massive cabinet in my home full of spirits and liqueurs. I don't drink every single day. But when I do drink, I want to make sure that I'm like, it's a treat.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to treat myself. So like, why? Just treat yourself. Just have A really good margarita with fresh squeezed lime juice and a high quality sweetener.
Speaking of which, are you going to do Margarita Fest this year?
I am very much so thinking about it. I'm torn because part of me wants to participate and use my syrups. Mm-hmm. Part of me wants to see if Alma will accept me as a judge. Because I think that would be really fun.
Mm-hmm. I think both would be a great option for you.
Thanks for reminding me. I need to reach out to her about that.
Because I think it's coming up. Like, aren't you going to have to start signing up soon?
Yes.
I think it was in May last year.
I'm busy. Yeah, I think it was close.
No, it had to be I know the guy that won, and it had to be after June. So it, like, the first part of June, I think, is when it is.
That's what I was thinking too. I think it was like close to Cinco de Mayo, but not.
Yeah.
They didn't do it for Cinco de Mayo.
Because it's outside, and you never know what you're going to get outside in the spring in Arkansas.
Right. Evident of my strawberry story.
Yes. Right. Back to the strawberries.
But yeah.
I'm kind of itching to tell you what these balls are that I put in your Siloam syrups.
They look like a mix between like shotgun pellets and like Mardi Gras beads.
Yeah, I was going for like Mardi Gras Christmas looking kind of beads. Like holiday beads, like fancy.
You guys can't see them, but they're about the size of a bead on a Mardi Gras necklace, and they're all gold.
Yes.
It's like a little trophy.
So yeah, it was intended to make it look like a trophy. They are slingshot ammunition that I spray painted gold.
Far off.
Well, because I went to Walmart and I looked for beads, and we're in the bead aisle, and it is lacking. And so Colton was like, let's just go over to the ammo aisle. And I was like, Colton. Of course you would. He's like, I bet there's some gold BBs. And so he went over to the aisle, and I was like, oh, actually, that's not a bad idea. And they were like perfect size.
Yeah, and it's not overly heavy, but they have like a little bit of weight to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they were white, and I spray painted them gold.
Well done.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Well, I just like doing weird crafts like that.
Very much so.
Anyway.
Can't wait to put in my office.
Okay, so we've talked about syrups. We've talked about what's going on. What are you watching on streaming services?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't have time to just watch TV. I'll tell you that right. I just don't have time.
Yeah.
But I do better focused work when there's something on. Mm-hmm. So I have my laptop and I have 2 monitors, and one of my monitors always has a show on. Mm-hmm. So I didn't watch it. Like, I definitely missed things, but I just binged the latest Bridgerton.
Okay, we can talk about this.
Okay.
Okay, so there's gonna be some spoilers. If you don't want to know about it, we're just gonna go ahead. Well, I finished everything. Did you finish everything?
Yes.
Okay. What are your takeaways?
Okay, so my biggest one, and this has nothing to do with the plot line, so I apologize for diverting here. Mm-hmm. I would like to know, and this is such a serious question, and that's how you know it's not that serious, the glow up of some of the characters.
Yeah.
I am baffled. I don't understand it. So much so that I was pulling up pictures of Colin from season 1, season 2, and season 3 because it's the same man.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how is this, we're watching right now, the same person from the last 2 seasons?
I think it's obviously intentional because, like, they're the
Very
front
much
runners.
so.
And so they kind of, like, do the Disneyland go away green thing with people who aren't the front runners. They're just kind of like plainer costumes, plainer hair, plainer makeup, and then whenever like they become to the forefront, that's when they like really make them shine and have them like be all they can be.
And just like the smolder.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, and I think that they've been doing like a whole lot of like outside marketing with the 2 of them too. Mm-hmm. So I think that they've been killing it with that.
But even Penelope, I mean, beautiful woman to start off with.
Mm-hmm.
She looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Again, the smolder.
Did you listen to last week's episode?
I know.
Of the podcast?
I'm 2 weeks behind.
Okay, so I talked with my sister about this already because I'd already started like the first episode or whatever.
Sorry,
and
guys.
so no, it's okay.
I'm duping out here.
It's because I wasn't doing any spoilers at that time.
Okay.
The only thing that I said was that I think it was really great that they casted a plus size woman in a
desirable
role. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Snaps for that.
Yes, I do have very specific beef that I will hold until I watch the next portion of episodes because I am a little frustrated with the way that they culminated the first end of the group. Like I'm frustrated that it was she was still I feel like every plus size girl is the secret girlfriend of her first love, in high school, they don't ever want to
show her off,
show off or anything. And so I just felt like that was the group, this group of episodes. I just felt like it was she was his secret girlfriend, and I didn't like that because they had a place to be powerful, putting a plus size person as a love interest, but they still went along with the culture that is what we expect already are living.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
So I know that they might change it in the next few episodes because he was like, are you gonna marry me or whatever?
So you haven't seen through the last episode yet?
That is the last episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so at the very end where he's
next season.
Yeah, well, or
the next more
group,
episodes.
The next out? Group, yeah, it's coming out
okay,
next.
I think
short. Next month.
I thought maybe I was just too much in the zone and missed a bunch.
No, I honestly have a whole theory about how Netflix is keeping people's subscriptions because they're releasing this group and then releasing the next group the next month so that people stay subscribed.
But wait, there's more.
So I think there is another. There was only 3 episodes or something, so there's gonna be another release coming out.
In my in the back of my mind, I felt like it was short, but again, I'm doing work while watching and listening.
So the very last thing that Colin says is, "Are you gonna marry me?" But it's after he secretly finds out that he's in love with her. He wasn't pursuing her outwardly, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, he has a lot more effort he needs to put forth.
Yeah, and I'm still open-minded to it. He still could put that effort forth, but I just feel like they had the opportunity to make a plus size person worthy, yeah. And they just made her a secret. As what it felt like.
I like that observation. Yeah, I think that's really important. So I did like that he got put in the hot seat because there was another man.
Yeah.
That was yes, please.
Yeah.
And a good-looking man too,
mm-hmm.
and successful. And there was, it wasn't just some random guy that was
and it was
I could use a wife.
It was somebody that she could have had a happy life with.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Who actually was outwardly pursuing her. So that is...
Mm-hmm. And the dynamic between
them
was nice.
I really liked that, and then to take it away and be oh, just kidding, she's gonna go with the guy who secretly who would never publicly be with her.
I loved the romantic drama of him putting together the two pieces of why she was sitting in that window.
Oh yeah, I liked that too.
I was
he's smart.
But also, if you remember when he was in that room, she said she didn't like the view anymore. And so I thought that was really interesting. She was yeah, but I'm not enjoying the view as much these days, or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I was oh,
interesting.
Okay.
Well, I'm curious to what's gonna happen if she's ever gonna tell him that she's Gossip Girl or whatever her name is.
Basically, Gossip Girl. Yeah, that's gonna have to come out.
Mm-hmm. And he was he hates her. So I'm still I'm conflicted. Why would, I don't know. I'm still in the camp of you had an opportunity, and you may redeem yourself, but I don't know at this time.
And it'll be so interesting to see how it plays out, because I could totally see his character finding out and being livid when it's like, sir.
Sir, you were
like, let's not get out the laundry list of like missteps you've taken, during this entire season, and previous seasons, where he just completely overlooked the love of his life. Yeah.
And been so incredibly rude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't fully formed my opinion, but that's how I stand about the first 3 episodes.
Do you remember in the movie 10 Things I Hate About You?
I have very foggy memories of that movie.
So it's Julia Stiles is the main character, and she is like undateable, right? And so her sister and this other nerdy guy that wants to date her sister try to get this like bad boy at school to date her so that her sister can also go out on dates. It's like a co-dating rule at their house.
I had that same rule at my house.
Right. So they send this, bad boy after her sister who's like mean to everybody. And he ends up getting her out of the house, and she, long story short, gets drunk. She tries to make a move, and he turns her down. And so one of, the other guys in the movie is like, you need to make a big gesture. Like, you made her feel bad, so now you need to like up the ante. And so he basically like paid off the marching band and somehow got like access to the microphone for the speakers on the soccer field and like sang and danced to her, and then got in trouble and got thrown in detention, all for her. Like, it was this massive public display of like, I'm okay humiliating myself essentially and getting myself in trouble to try to make this right with you. That's the type of moment that he owes Penelope.
Yes, that is what he owes Penelope. Yeah. But then I feel like he's gonna give her that, and then like find out that she's Lady Whistledown, and then be like, well, now you owe me, or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Which would be foolish.
I know. I don't know. We will see. I have mixed feelings about it at this time. However, I am still happy that there is a plus-size woman in a leading, desirable role.
Me too. She's getting the spotlight.
I think that's where I'm like, representation is important.
Which is something that I really love about Shonda Rhimes. Ugh, I know she's not going to hear this, but I love you. You're so amazing. I like the amount of diversity that this writer has been able to pack into this show is just amazing. Not only do we see people of color, we see queer coded people, and also this season had someone in a wheelchair, so we are seeing people with physical handicaps. That's so, and I know like with period pieces, often it's so, an entirely white cast unless they're in a lower level position, and then sometimes they'll throw in a person of color. And they've been missing out on opportunities all this time because it's a made-up story.
Yeah, it's made
up. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So getting to watch a show and seeing all this diversity, I think is really, really cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it, I like when it's like anti-culture, or I don't know if that's the right word to use, but like it's like different than what we are experiencing every day.
Very much so.
Anyway, so I like it. There are things I like about it, but I have very specific beef.
Specifically with the character. The make-believe character.
The make-believe character.
That we just referenced.
I also have been, do you watch Survivor?
No.
Well, I watch it, and this week is the finale. It's actually happening like tonight. I probably watch it tomorrow, maybe. No, actually probably not, because I have Pod Circle tomorrow. So I'll probably end up watching it this weekend. But I started listening to the accompanying podcast, and this is the first time that I'm like watching a show and listening to the accompanying podcast because I like couldn't get enough of the show. And I think it has been nice because usually my podcasts that I listen to are somewhat like negative, like it's like true crime or like something about, I don't know.
Morbid is my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're good. And or like some story about like this expose article that somebody wrote about the CIA or like something like that. Like those are the podcasts that I typically listen to. Yeah. And so to have like a podcast that's like it's a made up story about like social experiments. Like,
so in this podcast for Survivor, is it like the people that are on Survivor and they're looking back and talking through it, or
it is Jeff Probst. He's the like showrunner of Survivor and the host, and then it is a super fan of Survivor that is a producer of the podcast, and then it is a former player of Survivor, and they digest the like situations
like episode by
episode from those different perspectives.
I like that.
I like it a lot too. So it was very interesting because you learn like it's like almost behind the scenes stuff from like the producer,
right? Things that you wouldn't know,
and then like what you're like if it's a challenge that other player had participated in, you'd be like, what happened when you did this challenge, kind of things.
Very cool. Yeah, you've been watching Survivor for a long time.
Yeah, and basically this podcast is part Survivor podcast.
There's another show that you were watching too that you were telling me I needed to watch, but I can't remember.
What else have I been watching? I watched Circle. Did you watch The Circle?
Is that the dating one?
No. Circle is like Survivor, but on the internet.
Oh.
So, like, there's all these people, and they live in these apartments, and there's, like, they're being filmed in their apartment, and they have to use a social media that, like, is voice-activated, and so they, like, have to talk to each other, and you don't have to play yourself. You can play at Catfish, but it's a popularity contest, and whoever, like, is rated the highest in the last round wins $100,000.
I would lose. I would lose that so fast.
It's very interesting. This season they had an AI on it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting.
What are your feelings about AI?
I think that it's somewhat useful, but then also like I feel like it's very obvious when you're using AI. For like for example, I know that this is like edgy or whatever, but sometimes if I'm doing a graphic design and I need a very specific cartoon, like right now for my graphic design, I will type into an AI generator, XYZ, I need this cartoon of this, and it will produce artwork, which is like stealing from artists, and I feel really bad about it, but I'm like, it's like fast graphic design anyway. It's gonna fade away in 5 minutes. Yeah. So
interesting.
It's I justify it that way. However, like if you're using AI to write every email, like it's obvious, and I think that is tacky.
Yes, I agree. And I think, so little backstory, I moved to Northwest Arkansas from the Bay Area, which is not the Silicon Valley where all of this stuff started, because the Silicon Valley was so cheap. It was easy for tech startups to get property to do what they needed to do. But then a lot of them moved into San Francisco because that's where the people wanted to be. So if they wanted to be competitive with the talent that they were sourcing, they needed to go where all the talent wanted to live, and closest to the Silicon Valley was San Francisco. So working in San Francisco, I even worked in tech myself for a while, and some of it's downright eerie, and other things are like really handy. So I have mixed feelings about it as well, but I do think even in the most sophisticated sense, and granted, I know I have not seen that deep into it, right? Like I've only seen very surface level. You can tell that there's a human element missing. Mm-hmm. And I think even at the most sophisticated level, long term, I don't know that I really believe that there will ever be able to truly capture that human element. Mm-hmm. Like there will always be something a little bit off. Mm-hmm. Very, very close.
Yeah.
But like ever so slightly off.
Just a little bit. Did you ever watch the show Orville?
No.
It's somewhat like a sitcom version of Star Trek.
Okay. How have I never heard of this?
There is this one character on the show that he is from a race of AI robots.
Okay.
And he's studying biologicals is like what he says. But then they end up being like the bad guys because anyway, I just ruined some stuff. But
sorry, folks.
Because of what you're saying, they just lacked a human element.
Yeah. Now I say that, and that's just probably my ego, right? Because I've definitely seen some things where could have fooled me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. But I don't know, just like in my heart, I'm like, there's no way that they will truly ever be able to capture like the essence of being a human being.
Yeah.
A lot, very, very close. A lot will go into it. I just don't know.
I think the ones that are way more eerie are like the actual like human looking robots. I think those freak me out more than the AI chat bots or whatever.
Yeah, the chatbots are handy. Mm-hmm. Can be handy.
They can be, for sure.
I introduced a chat GPT to one of my coworkers not too long ago. And I think like the most important thing I tried to drive home was this is a tool, not the end product.
Yeah.
So you can ask questions and it will basically help you research in like seconds everything you're looking for, but you still have
to do the work.
You still have to do the work, because if you're just copying and pasting, everyone's gonna know, and it's not gonna come across genuine, and it's at the end of the day like it's not a complete thought.
Yeah, it's tacky.
There's no soul to it. So yeah, but anyway. Still kind of nice to have.
Although like another thing, sometimes the podcasting, it has like some AI stuff and it goes through and like generates captions for you. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So stuff like there are nice and helpful things, but I just think as a person using AI like for your end all be all, like without putting work in, using AI to be lazy is tacky.
Agreed. Yeah. I think it can be very helpful in speeding things up, but yeah, using it as like final answer, copy paste, no.
Yeah, definitely not. Anyway, that sounds like a pretty good place to push pause. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that you didn't get a chance to talk about?
I mean, we've covered syrup, shows, current events. No, I'm good.
Yeah,
this is a great conversation.
Tell people where they can buy Siloam syrups.
Oh yeah, you can buy it online on my website, www.siloamsyrups.com.
Did you really just say www?
I sure did. And then all the places that I listed earlier, I don't want to kill people, but Occasions, Cafe on Broadway, Olive and Opal, Midtown Market, Bella's Gifts, Macadoodles, Mars Mercantile, and many more to come soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I always love having our conversations, and I had a fun one today. And if you enjoyed this podcast, you can leave us a rating. You can like, share, follow our content. You can go to sleepoverpod.com and send me a message. Anything you want to. And if you're interested in coming on the podcast, let me know. I have availability. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.